perspective. This month we have been celebrating LGBTQ Pride. Today we also celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Stonewall Inn riots in New York City, when a group of LGBTQ activists stood up in a local New York bar and fought back against hate. Our guest today is Arias, who is an incredibly vibrant and multifaceted person. Andy is a disabled Latino, gay actor, and advocate. He currently works on disability rights policy in Washington, D.C. Andy also advocates in the entertainment industry to create visible pathways as an actor and stand-up comedian. His goal is to marry his policy work with his work in the entertainment industry to create a systemic, lasting change. Andy most recently co-taught a leadership academy entitled Cultural and Linguistic Competence through Georgetown University, and the course was taught in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It focused on the intersectionality of the LGBTQ movement and disability rights movement. I think this is the first time that this course was taught like this. So welcome, Andy.
Hi, Judy. Thank you for having me.
Very happy you're here.
Thank you.
For the first 13 years of your life, you were a part of the foster care system, and you received many negative messages, basically what you weren't going to be able to do.
Yes.
So what caused you to believe in yourself and to believe that you needed to discard those messages and create a positive life for yourself?
Well, it's interesting because I had a spirituality from a very young age, about 6, and I really focused on internal strength. But I also had a lot of angels that walked in and out of my life saying, you can do it, forget what people say. And people, they would tell me I wouldn't do things, and when they said that, I would turn their no's into yeses, because if you tell me no, or you tell me I can't, which are words that I hate, and I don't hate a lot of things except those 2 words, then I'll figure out a way to make that into a yes.
Were there any role models in your life or any events that happened that made you begin to believe in yourself as a disabled person? And when did your gayness begin to become a prominent part of your life?
Wow. Actually, I didn't accept my disability for a long time. And it's watching a video that you were in called Lives Worth Living, I think that's the right title. And I saw you and I saw Ed Roberts, and it shook me. Before that, I focused a lot on my LGBTQIA-ness, and I was thinking, it was a very internal, selfish kind of drive, like, I need to be an actor, I need to be me, I need to be out there, and I saw what you and Ed Roberts had done for the disability community, and it really said, okay, wake up, don't be so selfish, and you're here for a deeper purpose.
So you began to meld these 2 aspects of your life. Was that difficult?
It was to other people. It was never in my head, because I really think that media and policy or advocacy, disability rights, they have a home. The media can spread awareness quickly, and when you're working on disability rights policy, that's usually a slow turning wheel. So if you marry the 2 together, I think one can accelerate the other and make one move faster.
You've worked in LA and in Washington, D.C. on bringing disabled people from the LGBTQ community. Maybe you could share very briefly why you've done that and what impact you think that has had.
I did it so at first I would have a sense of belonging, because I never felt like I really belonged. I felt like a unicorn or like an alien somewhere that was just placed on this planet and said, deal with all this stuff, and I was like, gee, thanks. But I really wanted to bring my communities together, so I had a sense of belonging. and then I figured out that there are many people that identify like me in Los Angeles, and they had no place to go, particularly because a lot of the LGBTQ spaces were not welcoming to them. And then coming to DC, I've only been to 3 LGBTQ spaces that are fully accessible, meaning first, second, and patio are fully accessible for people with disabilities.
So, do you feel that the LGBTQ community and the disability communities are working collaboratively on... There are many disabled people who are part of the LGBTQ community. And the struggle that you were discussing earlier about identifying first as being a part of the LGBTQ community and disability second. In the work that you've done, have you been able to have people kind of talk about these issues and what's come out as a result of that? And do you see the disability community and the LGBTQ community really recognizing the importance of allowing people from both of these communities to feel pride about themselves, their whole self?
Not yet. I think that there's been progress in the last few years. I think that there's people, not only myself, making these steps towards intersectionality and inclusiveness of individuals, of all individuals. But I really feel that, if you can't get into an LGBTQ space, how are you supposed to collaborate? And that's, access is the first step to collaboration. So I think that that's a huge barrier.
I know that you've talked about the issue of bars and bars being a place where people meet, but it really does go beyond that. So,
yeah.
Are you seeing disability being discussed more within the LGBT community more broadly, and vice versa? Do you see LGBTQ issues being discussed more within the disability community? What are some of the barriers that still exist in both communities to allow people who come from both communities to really feel a part and to be seen as contributing?
Okay. Hi, Facebook Live. I hope you don't hate me for this. I think that some individuals that are LGBTQ and disabled still have the stigma of shame and cannot be fully pride.
Shame more on the disability end?
Shame about the LGBTQ end of who they are. Only because they may have care providers, they may have people that they depend on to provide them things that they need to be independent, and that's just a struggle that I went through that I still keep seeing through the groups that I have. And in the disability, so that's the disability community. And the LGBT community, there's a vanity there that they don't want to see any aspect of vulnerability or mortality that they so it's really hard for them to accept somebody that's physically different.
So I think the point that you've raised is very important as it pertains to people who have disabilities and need assistance from other people, because you don't really have a private life.
Yeah.
And so the people that you bring into your life, whether it's family or a paid person or a friend, if they have an issue about people being from the LGBT community, it's much more likely that people will be hiding who they are.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, again, we've said over the last 10 or 11 pieces that we've done that there is much more to discuss in this area. I really appreciate your coming very much,
Andy.
Thank you
so much.
Helping us to raise some very important issues, which I hope not just we will continue to discuss, but will be more openly discussed. So the disability and LGBTQ movements have many similar parallels. We almost mirror each other. Both experiences have battled segregation, isolation, and denial of human rights. As we come to the end of the LGBTQ Pride Month, let's take note that there is so much more work to be done for those that fall on both sides of the fence and are still striving to belong and are still striving to become a whole person. This can be seen most recently in the responses to pride parades around the world. As we celebrate here in the United States and in other countries, we must remember that there are still people worldwide whose freedom of expression continues to be violated because they are from the LGBTQ community. Our work is far from over. I am really looking forward to our next conversation in 2 weeks, where we will be focusing on the Americans with Disabilities Act, which will be celebrating its 27th anniversary, and we're also going to be conducting interviews with people from around the world who will be in Washington, D.C., attending the National Council on Independent Living and the Japanese Council on Independent Living's first International Summit. Please like and share this video, and be sure to leave your feedback in the comment section below. I want to thank you for the support you've been giving us, and I really hope that you are continuing to work within your communities to advance the human rights of disabled people. Thank you very much.